You said all that it's more good, yeah, good, so good again. So let me know, si la let que te quiero, it's time to play. Deep down inside, junto a night sky, 난 너 como 싫은 나에게도 도시대,少し揺れる시대를 또 you pass, 우지를 blast, feel like I'm flying out to Pluto, Juno, super the sounds, Pluto, cause you're so, too short, I gotta keep it, now you know it. They told you go. Look, I see the mom. You go,
Happy Monday, people. Hey!
Hello.
How's it going?
Fantastic. I have a question for you.
We are live, by the way.
Delightful. I'll ask you about the cream later. Did we do Human Z on a when I wasn't here?
Human Z? Yes, we did.
Okay, cool. All right, fine. Fine.
Sorry.
Fine. I know I gave it to you and said this is a great story, but did you really have to use it?
I think I worked in another story on top of that with someone sent it in a while ago about escaped infected monkeys or an escaped infected. I think it was a monkey from a research a university research center or something.
Oh, that's always delightful.
Yeah. Hi everybody. Welcome to the internet. I know Brian was here. We arrived at the same time, but he might be taking a shower. Thank you everybody who's coming over from Justin's stream. It's great to see you guys. If you haven't already seen it, themodernrogue.com, there's a new special President's Day article from Justin and what is his name? John Teasdale. That's it. About their presidential player in the Battlegrounds match of which president would win. Let's check that out. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I'm excited to see who would win. Let's see if we can call Justin. He just ended his stream, so I don't know if he's getting food or something. The real Andrew Mays, did I see Black Panther? I did see Black Panther. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I managed to catch a screening when we were out in Schenectady, New York. Okay, just it's pretty good. I liked it. Did you get a chance to see it, Andrew?
No, I've been dying to see it. I'm super, super stoked about seeing it. I've just been, it's one of those things where everything gets kind of caught up around you.
I'd say it was very good. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I've heard just nothing but praise for it. So,
yeah. But yeah, so that was that. Though I ended up, I don't know. So we were in. I saw it while we were out on the road for this show, and so the only place I could go see it was the well, I guess there were a couple options, but the place I ended up seeing was like super close to where we were staying, and it was on a very tiny screen. I think I've gotten used to kind of larger movie theater screens.
I can't do anything that's not like stadium seating, and even like now, like I won't go to the movies if it's not my favorite recliner seat and my favorite laser projection.
Yeah. These didn't recline. Well, and I was like, so, there's usually like seats in the front, and then there's the walkway, and then the seats in the back. I was in the very front of the seats in the back and could see like the whole frame at once. But like people were coming in, and I was already sitting down, and I had my food, and I didn't want to like get up, but I really felt like I really wanted to get up and just move way closer because like nobody else moved up. Like there was like maybe 10 people or so in that front section. Everybody was in the back, and it was like, this is so small. I don't know how people do it. Though
Like,
apparently,
all right, fine.
one of the I think she was a projectionist or someone came out during like the Ant-Man trailer, and she's like trying to shout over this very loud trailer, and she's like she's basically trying to say, oh, this was accidentally the screener. We're actually accidentally running the screener version of Black Panther and not the general audience one, and so it will only have one trailer in front of it. Is everybody okay with that? And it's like,
Funny.
because you know, I don't know. I know there's been good reaction to the Wrinkle in Time trailer before Black Panther, but I don't know that anybody was going there to go see a
To
trailer
see that,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah. Which theater? It was is a Bowtie Cinemas, which looks a lot like a Regal, if you ask me. They had the Marina Menounos pre-show thing. They had the same. They didn't have the little roller coaster thing that all the other movie theater chains seem to have. But yeah. Let me see if we can get Justin on the line and see where Brian Brushwood is.
I'm gonna wash up my container.
Oh, your juice. No, Justin, where are we going? Okay, well, there we go. Oh, there's the sync. You heard it, everybody. How Wrinkle in Time looks okay. Yeah, it looks interesting. I'm pretty sure I read Wrinkle in Time in school, and so it's just far enough away where I don't remember what happens in it. That I'm excited to see what happens in it. Hey, it's Brian Brushwood. Hi. We are live. Yeah. All right, we're back. And then what else? Oh, I watched Bright over the weekend. I watched it on the plane ride back from New York, and okay, we're gonna just turn you down. Bright. That movie's kind of a mess. It's just not very good. It's just mediocre, you know? It's a clumsy analogy of racial tensions just with fantasy characters substituted in. And the storytelling's not very good, and the resolution is pretty bad. Just in terms of like what what you eating there, Andrew?
I'm not from apple.
Oh, apple slices.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. But yeah, it's just kind of a mess. I'm gonna give Justin one more call. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, thanks. Dan Wally says Bright suffers from what most movies need more of these days: more editing. Yeah, I mean, Bright is like 2 hours, and that's probably 40 minutes longer than it needs to be. Bright,
Oh, you didn't, Bryce.
sorry, what'd you say, Andrew?
Said, oh, you didn't. Just did you? But you did. Say that.
Yeah, it's just, you know, there are points where it's like you should be wrapping up. This is just like kind of going in circles and Did you see it, Andrew?
No, I did not, and it won't preclude me from having an opinion about it.
No, for sure.
Here's my take on this. It was a very, very interesting effort on behalf of Netflix They put a hell of a lot of money, a ton of promotion and marketing into this thing.
Yeah.
And they champion like, look at the result, look at how much, look at how many people watch this, or they sort of subtly say, and we've heard the scores of how many people watched it.
The highest,
But
their most watched thing lately. Yeah.
yeah, and it's their most heavily promoted thing ever. And listen, I have no ill will toward any party in there, whatever, but not a single person has come to me and said like, hey, have you seen Bright? You should really watch Bright.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is that, especially in a world where Netflix doesn't care about viewership numbers, they care about membership. Saying it's their most popular or most watched thing doesn't make it good, and it doesn't really mean much when they don't care if people watch it or not. They care.
I mean, they care. They care.
They care, sure.
It gives them a safe point to sort of say, hey, this is what we're really after. And I think that I get like, I just want to say, hey, you have these things you can watch. And there's certainly like, it's trying to, some of these things are done for a certain demo you want to get to and appeal to. My personal thing with Bright was like, I don't think I would have seen it in the theaters, because when I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, Alien Nation with a goblin.
Yeah, we talked a bit about that, and I really
'cause
loved.
You liked Alien Nation.
Yeah, I loved Alien Nation, both the movie and the TV show.
Mm-hmm. And that was
good.
I think Max Landis is a very good writer. I think I enjoyed Chronicle, but a lot of times you hear there's excitement over stuff. You go like, yeah, it's the thing that, Brian, Max and I watched when we were kids, and now he's done, it's this plus this,
We definitely spent 20 minutes in the car ride back from the airport trying to figure out the name of Chronicle.
Yeah, I was like, Jumper? No, not Looper, not...
Not Hitch, which I thought was Hancock, which was also not it. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I liked Chronicle, though. Chronicle was very similar to I don't know which one came first, but there was a book that I read that reminded me a lot of Chronicle, called Demigod.
Interesting.
Kind of a different take, and it goes in a different direction, but it was kind of a very similar thing of like young people get superpowers. Yeah, Brian says, and become assholes. Basically.
Like what happens to people when they get podcasts?
Burn. Good burn. What's a good Jason? Not Jason, Justin. Where's he at? I also watched the first 2 episodes of the Netflix Queer Eye reboot.
How was that?
It was good.
I got a text from or a tweet called me out in public from my ex-girlfriend from high school saying, Brian, you look great on Queer Eye. and then the guy from Queer Eye responded to her like, look at this thread. And then she responds with a gif of me doing a thing. And I'm like, this is weird.
You don't even really look like that blonde guy. Assuming she's talking about that blonde guy. Let's see.
You'll have to look for mentions of me because I didn't put it in my timeline.
But you didn't reply to her?
No. I did not know how to respond.
Atchwood Queer? Am I okay looking at it?
Yeah, there you go.
No.
But then keep on going down, and then he responds, that's the guy. And then she seems to think I look a lot like him, but I don't know.
Not really.
I'm with you. That's why I didn't say anything. I was like, I mean, what am I gonna get defensive on Twitter? I'm like, no, I don't look like that guy.
This is a tweet from 2013. Oopsie doopsie. All right. No, we're good. What are you looking for? Okay. In case. Yes, we are working on President's Day. For you, the insane values of podcast.
Have you had a chance to read Justin and John Teasdale's article?
No, not yet. I only caught a glimpse of it at the start of the stream when I was telling people about it. But it's at themodernrogue.com.
Yeah.
Oh, caffeine-free Coke.
Yeah, sorry. You're like,
No, that's fine. It's like my it's not a dig. My grandma enjoys the caffeine-free Cokes. What are you doing? Why?
Because I can't.
Don't we have that?
I don't see any. It's fine.
Oh,
It's fine,
Jesus.
it's fine. Just sitting in a wet spot now.
Well, we'll get started with the show here once one of the hosts of the show joins us here on Skype. Of course, I'm talking about Justin Robert Young. Oh, don't do that.
I got a hard out at 1 p.m. just so we know. I gotta go. Doctor's appointment.
Okay. Then we'll keep an eye on that. How was your weekend?
Have we heard anything from him at all?
No, he hopped off the stream, his stream, before I called you. I know he takes a little bit of time. Oh, he got started late. That's right, because he was having internet problems with his.
Well, he might be still having them. We could just start, and if he can join in, we join in.
Let me.
Not that I. Give him a couple more minutes. I mean, I'm not trying to. I'm just saying if he can't get online, that'll be part of the problem.
Well, and he was stream. It looked like he was streaming fine and all by the time I looked at it earlier today.
Bryce, what I'm saying is now's our chance for our new third co-host.
Oh, okay.
Let's have auditions.
It's not like.
Call in.
Only one person showed up.
Oh, okay. All right, we sent him a Skype message to tell him. Okay. But yeah, the new Queer Eye is fine. You know, it's more Netflix getting into basic cable. Oh, funny thing. Okay, a funny thing I noticed during episode 2 of the new Queer Eye. One of the songs that they play in the background of one of the moments.
Oh, it's from one of the libraries that you use?
Well, I noticed it. And I was like, where have I heard this? Because it was kind of high energy, but it felt like a theme song. And then I remembered it was the theme song for Dance On.
Oh,
It was that exact song with the lyrics and everything. I was like,
Oh,
my
man,
God.
I revisited one of those dances. Somebody said, Chase Goforth mentioned that he was told that he dances like Morticia Adams, and so I sent him a link. I was like, well, that makes this weirder for me, and he was very amused to see me as Gomez Adams dancing.
Excuse me.
Is Justin having internet troubles or?
I have not heard from him, so that's
Okay.
where I'm at.
Has he tried calling in?
He has not.
Maybe he should do that.
He should.
Has he considered being on the show
has he
instead
thought
of
of-
not being on the show? Oh, I had a random thought, and I was terrified that Twitch. We got to cash out that money from the Twitch
Yes.
channel.
Yes, we
So
do.
please keep me doing that so that I can disperse money to everyone.
Okay. We also need to talk about that, I think, too.
Yes.
All right, we'll do that. What was the other thing?
The new link on the Modern Rogue YouTube channel goes to scam stuff instead of themodernrogue.com. On the Modern Rogue YouTube channel,
Weird. Well, it might do that. It might have. I think so. So there's that thing where you can put buttons on.
it says when I click on the modernrogue.com. No, it takes me to the Modern Rogue.
So, speaking of audience comments, suggestions, that's a helpful one.
Hey.
Example.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Let's say like medium, not quite. I've had a couple people who like have written like, I've been reading your or like my early books are poorly edited, and they're like, I'm reading your book and this horribly edited. You should fire your editor and hire me, you know. And I'm this like, what will that working relationship be like when they find out that one, I edited the book, and also that, you know, starting off with the whole. Somebody said, you know, one of these people's character sounds like Charlie Chan. I'm like, that's racial. I had like 2 in one day come in like that because the book's, you know, been going to a wider audience. But it was like, how do you solicit for certain people? How do you get people to hire you? Step 1, don't insult the person you're going to.
Hi, Justin.
Hey, sorry about that. I was waiting for the call. I was.
We tried calling a couple times, so I assumed that you were busy getting food. Also, your audio. I don't think you have the right microphone on.
I think I have both again. Now it should be good.
No, it definitely sounds like a room mic. Tap on that microphone.
Huh.
No, that's not it.
Yeah, that's
I don't think you have it set right in Skype.
Oh, I can Skype.
Oh, Skype.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I guess I did not. Navigate fucking Skype's nonsense. Here, let me call you back.
Okay. Here we go. Justin Robert Young, ladies and gentlemen.
It was kind of him to drop by. Make your prediction. We'll say make your.
Great show. Yeah, great show. It's still a great night.
It's great radio. I feel less of a I don't know. I feel less worried about dead air in the pre-show and post-show for weird things compared to, you know, whereas we really hammer on the pre and post show as a feature.
Justin, how do you sound?
Check.
Yeah, there you go.
Any better?
Yeah. Double check that your vocoder's not on.
It is not on.
Okay. We've been getting. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's this channel or our thing. You sounded a little crunchy last week, and I
Well,
don't know that we can do anything about that right now.
Yeah.
Are you guys good to jump right into the show?
Yeah, I'm tweeting out our awesome super special article.
Okay.
yeah, right.
And Andrew has a hard out at 1 Pacific.
Ready.
So I'm gonna do the show. All right, take it away, guys. In 3, 2.
Hello and welcome to the Weird Things Podcast. I'm Andrew Main, joined by Brian Brushwood.
Hello, beautiful people. How are you doing? I'm gonna pause.
Justin.
I feel like I should pause just long enough for everyone to answer, and they go, "Oh, that's great. That's great."
Well, that's a discussion too for after things about the whole when people address a group as a group and not as individuals. You know, like when you're at Disneyland and you're like, there's a crowd and they get in back of the crowd and like, everybody move to the front, and they're yelling at the people at the back of the crowd to move up.
Yeah.
You know, and like they can't. Like, okay, do I trample this person in front of me? Because that's what you're telling me to do. If you want us to move forward, maybe go to the front of the line where everybody's standing with a 30-foot gap and tell them to come towards you.
Right.
But it's that I told the crowd to move kind of mentality. Speaking of crowds, Justin Robert Young.
The one-man crowd, Justin Robert Young. I'm here. Hi, friends.
And our producer, Mr. Bryce Castillo.
Hi, everybody.
But yeah, when you go into an audience like, hey, how's everybody doing? You're sitting like,
Nobody knows what That's one of my favorite moments. I did my full stage show a couple days ago, and everything is call and response, and then I just get to this moment and I go, are you ready? And then it's just dead silent, and there's always like 1 or 2 people who go, yeah, and then which it tickles me every single time.
oh, people in mass, crowd psychology. Gentlemen, how prepared are you for the future?
Does the future involve cardiovascular exercise of any type?
Possibly.
Oh, well then I'm going to say less prepared than I would like to be.
Or possibly a pill that you just take that compensates for that, which they're working on.
Oh, wait, man, now I'm in. Now you got me. Ready.
We talk a lot about like, hey, robots, machines, it's awesome, kind of scary, and they're getting smart, and they're doing smart things, and yay, it's kind of cool. A little nervous, but maybe don't need to be, but maybe we should be, but here come all these awesome things too. And I think we're entering into the age of sort of AI data. And what I mean by that is that we're seeing now, particularly like Google has a company called Verily, and there's other companies that are using AI and machine learning and stuff to take large data sets and look for correlations, test those correlations, and then come up with results. Basically taking what could take a scientist 10 years, you could do in a couple minutes. And I've saw stuff like 5-6 years ago where they looked at like fruit fly DNA with fruit flies that were extremely long-lived compared to the ones that weren't. And it said, oh, there's this little gene that affects resveratrol. And nobody told the AI, oh yeah, we know that's, associated old age. It figured it out on its own, which was something that took us.
There is a fascinating discussion on Sam Harris's podcasts, over 2 hours long, with an expert. And one of the things they talked about is they took the same algorithm that beat humans at Go, and rather than teach, and they stripped away all of the preconceived notions, like a lot of those chess programs or Go programs, you get to rely on book moves, and you get to rely upon all the humans that helped. The second version, they told it nothing. They told it nothing except for the rules of the game, and then it just figured out the best way to play by trying everything.
Yeah, it's absolutely kind of it's eerie, and I'm getting to a story here, but like I've been playing over the weekend. I've been playing with in Apple and iOS, they have a thing called Core ML, which is core machine learning, which means that with a few lines of code, you can take a model that you've programmed to do something. Like I could say, oh, I want something that's you could use for vision to say I want to spot certain things. Like if I want to go out into nature and spot certain birds or stuff, identify that. I literally just take a folder full of like 100 images of the bird I'm looking for and 100 images of birds I'm not looking for, that's not the bird. And it'll go through and develops an algorithm and a little model. You plug that in there, the few lines of code, tie it into the camera, and it'll go, seagull, not, or, identify whatever. You can grab databases. Like I have stuff in here. Like I'll show you. Actually, I'll show you just as a quick demo because it's getting somewhere. I downloaded one called YOLO, which is a algorithm that does a really, really fast look. And it's not going to mean as much when you see this, but if you look at it's rapidly in real time identifying whatever's in front of it. Okay.
Oh, that's amazing. So, does it actually text? Is that text words that we're just not able to make out there?
Yeah, there's text up there. It's got a few things there. So there's a great demonstration. If you look at YOLO recognition, the trailer for it is they put it in. There you go, James Bond movie. Bryce, you're amazing.
Oh, wow, and it's just telling you everything. Like, this is an orange. That's a handgun. This is a hero. Person.
But also, like,
umbrella.
Each individual person, chair, motorbike. Like
this is real time. They're playing a clip from Spectre, so that you're watching this action sequence as it's just rapidly just telling you every single thing in there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's running off of, you can do this demo off of, a phone.
All right, what is this called?
This is YOLO. This is a particular image recognition database. It's optimized for being super, super fast.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
That is, it's just also crazy to look at, like, all the data and even to understand how fast our brains process.
Yeah,
all
like
that,
right? It's just calling out what we do naturally by saying, hey, this is what your brain does all the time at all time.
A billion years of evolution behind it.
Yeah. Wow.
Because it's it's while we're watching this, and if you're only listening on audio, it's a big action sequence in crowded marketplaces and streets in Spectre.
It did miss some. In this case, we see a woman behind the wheel of a car, and it misidentifies the top of the steering wheel as Frisbee.
Well, okay. Well, just to say, when you say misidentified, remember that this is, and yes, and it has a database of, let's say, 1,000 objects, or there may not be steering wheel in the database.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like it's sort of like it's like it has a limited vocabulary and it's going, I guess it's this. Because
Yeah,
I don't have
and
a word for this other thing, and this has a certain probability of being this thing. So you can adjust the confidence and say, only tell me if you're like 95% or more confident.
But also just think about how each and every one of those things that are identified are crucial to that scene, right? It's not the same scene if we do not recognize that there are people that James Bond is chasing down the bad guy in. Right? Like we don't, it's not the same scene if we don't realize that his accomplice is driving the wrong way up a road where cars are coming at her.
We have
right?
context. It doesn't. It has no context. We know it's a car, and it could think it's a frisbee factory. Why are you yelling at me, Brian? I'm doing my best.
You always make
Turns
fun
out
of me.
they shot that scene in a frisbee factory.
It turns out that maybe I'll bet you could easily program this to take all the second place items, so to teach you how to Swede each of these scenes. Like if you want to recreate it, it's like, okay, you don't have a person, put a dog there. You don't have a steering wheel, put a frisbee there, and then, you recreate it.
Yeah. The second guess YOLO.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's really, it's amazing to see where this stuff. And like I said, I've been playing with stuff, and I'll show you guys some of the things I've been working on. It just blows my mind because that I'm able to do this, that I'm able to go, I'm making things on the webs, Well, actually, it's all not on web based, but my point is, incredible technology now. And now, if you want to create like image recognition systems and stuff, you can take large databases, upload them to Google or Amazon, and they'll create these. They'll use their GPUs to go through all these different permutations and come back within. You're creating a neural net. Is what you're creating.
Man,
So
that really tells me that. Remember when Google Glass came out, what we wanted was the ability to have it instantly recognize faces and a heads-up display reminding us of who their name is or what to talk about. Basically, like to have a congressional aide in our glasses at all times, reminding us of what's going on. That technology is here. I mean, it's going to be 20 minutes till somebody puts that together.
No, there's a demo. There's already a demo. I played with them last night. If you look up iOS Core ML face detection real time, and what it does is you put in, it has a list of your faces, and then it pops up and it'll be like Brian. It shows a little icon. This is Brian. You look around the room in real time. It's just popping over the icons for every person you look at.
That's so awesome.
I don't want to get derailed, but can we just for 1 second just bring up that Google Glass thing? It just always, what fraudulence,
Oh yeah, compared to what the thing was.
Out and out. Fraud this was.
The demo shows you the point of view of a person, and over the things are overlaid over what you're seeing directly in front of you. Okay, and that's exciting and looks really, really cool. But the reality of it is, as Justin will explain, thing in the upper tiny corner. Tell them about your experience while I grab a demo.
Oh God, well yeah, I had them. I think I still have them somewhere. But no, it was a black and white little screen that just kind of was always black and white and was always definitely just in your upper peripheral vision. That was basically just a tiny black and white Google alert flashing. Like there was nothing that was changed by what you were seeing. It was sure, I guess it was dependent on location, but nothing like what we are seeing.
And it just really, nobody wants to look like an idiot. So,
yeah, exactly.
So what I have here is the Viewfind, which is just a $200 basically little mini heads-up display that plugs into an HDMI port. In this case, you can put it into your iPhone or whatever. But I'm using that for something else. But that's kind of neat. If you want to play with that kind of stuff, though, if you want to walk along and watch a movie and out of your right eye. It's like dorky, no coming back.
I mean, yes, but if you're on the factory floor, I could totally see that.
Yeah.
If you're a surgeon, I could totally see that.
By the way, Google Glass lives on as an enterprise device. Like there is a use for that kind of heads-up display when you are at the job and you are otherwise wearing like a jumpsuit and
what else? I think there was a competing one that was designed for cyclists, so that you had your heads-up display.
it had a really tight. It only like showed you a certain amount of data though. That was
Yeah.
a disappointment.
Well, let,
yeah,
let
it's
me
like
let me
this,
let me
like-
ask you this though. It's like because this kind of AR, like what you're showing now, the possibilities. I mean, like this kind of tech really only requires to be dressed up a certain way to be a killer app, right? Like when you are able to recognize certain things. I mean, hell, how much? I mean, let's take Brian's idea for Google Glass. You can use exactly that framework, feed in your Facebook feed of faces that you know, faces that are famous or stuff like that, and put that in a device that doesn't make you look like a Borg headed to a key party, like the Google Glass looked like, and you're good to go.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, and we've talked about this before, but it's like right now we're seeing the wave of, we were all worried about getting chipped or ID'd or barcoded in the future, and now our faces are our barcodes, and
You don't
just,
need it. Yeah. Like, yeah.
You
Why
know,
bother?
you can't hold anything secret unless you wear a hilarious comical mask, or even then if you have the right glasses on, you can recognize right through it. And
Yeah,
so the second wave is all of the vast amounts of useless video that everything has been recording for the past 30 years. All of a sudden, you could retro apply all that stuff and say you could map out someone's last 20 years based on available video and AIs that just say, find anything literally anywhere that ever had Brian in it, and then and here's his life.
It's scary to a degree because you look at like in what I've been playing with the tech, its ability to recognize stuff. And there's you can look on GitHub and you'll find tons. GitHub's a place to find like open source projects anybody can download and tinker with. And you can find a lot of stuff like here's an algorithm that like tries to recognize what exercise you're doing at a certain point. And if you wanted to start, and there's like things like real time, license plate scanners you can put on your phone, pull it up, get every license plate on the street. It is, and you can combine that stuff too with like, forget taking your Facebook stuff. You could do a scan of faces all around you. iOS has built-in face detection. Do image comparisons.
Well, and I think I had pitched to you like 2 or 3 years ago the idea, because it's a problem that a lot of people, if you're a cyclist, a lot of people don't know that you have to maintain 3 feet distance, 6 feet if you're in a truck or whatever. And it would be trivial to put together a device that basically was able to tell which cars were too close, and then immediately snap a picture or take a recording of the event, get the license plate, cross-reference it, send them a friendly email reminding them of the law, just all as a script that you don't do. I mean, it's passive-aggressive and petty, and that's how I was feeling at the time, because it's scary when cars don't go too close. But, like, this tech is all here for everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There you could do you could build a system that could have a 360-degree scan all around you. You take, like, I have the Ricoh Theta camera, has got a Wi-Fi in it, right? And so this can go right to the phone, and I can use an open source program to take all that data. So I could use that to identify objects in a 360-degree panorama, which is kind of like what Waymo and Tesla do. With their cars. Waymo uses LiDAR, and Tesla uses a bunch of cameras that say that's a car, that's a car, that's a car. He uses some radar to get depth data, but you could put a bike version of this that could show you.
So I get very utopian when I think about how these devices are making it more and more possible for us to feel more connected, for everybody to achieve more. If you have an idea, it can help the world instantly overnight and all this stuff. We also have just-in-time delivery and management. However, what scares me is 100 years from now, the possibility of society essentially full on, like we can't even envision, certainly the planet wouldn't function with the carrying capacity that we have right now if all of a sudden all electronics stopped working, which that's when you get to those scary scenarios of, every so often, every few tens of thousands of years, the magnetic poles just flip. And during that time, there's very little shielding to keep the sun's solar flares from knocking out electronics left and right. And it could be the kind of thing that, let's say war is at an all-time low, which it is, and famine's at an all-time low, which it is. But then all of a sudden, just boom, everything stops working. Obviously, we can't feed everybody and do everything without the electronics. Does that scare you at all?
I mean, should it scare me more or less than the idea of something, solar flare taking out our electrical grid now? I mean, I don't. I would say that our ability to handle disruption has improved dramatically. I would say that we're better able, but then again, you have things. I mean, you hope for that. Let's say there was a recent event that was in the news, and this is inside info, kind of a crisis sort of situation, and the police radio shut down because once they hit a 500 radio limit,
right,
nobody could talk. And so stuff like that happens. And I think I worry about those situations when you have one agency or one group that says this is a solution we have to use. And people say if you have no opportunity to point out weaknesses or solutions. There's a lot of criticism, let's say, of hedge funds. Like, they're evil. They prey upon like companies failing or whatever. No, they're there making bets and exposing risks. Hedge funds win when people have risks that they haven't addressed or haven't accounted for. And so,
and they send important signals about impending bubbles and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it just side note, kind of, there's a lawsuit right now where there's some cities and states are like trying to sue the oil companies, saying like, hey, climate change is affecting us, blah blah blah. Like, we should be compensated for this, need to pay for this because you didn't disclose this or do this, whatever. It's being fought because the oil company is like, hey, when you did bond issues and you were asked if climate change affected your city or was a risk, and you said no, that's either fraud. Right. Because you knew there was risk or not. And that's the thing that gets into in an institutional level where you have kind of cross interests, and one interest protect our environment, do this, the other interest make money, so, finance the city. Did that tangent make any connection at all, or am I too out there on that?
No. It's I mean, look, we're all out on the limb. It was just fun seeing you dance the farthest.
Well, I mean, it's we've talked about, like, because when we talk about, are we afraid of this? Like, no, I'm not afraid of these things are robust. But then we talk about, well, if we nationalize the internet, we put it all under control to lock it down and make sure it's secure. That's when I get scared, because our fear of short-term, smaller disruptions opens up to a much bigger. When that whole thing collapses, you can't put it back together.
I'm fond of thinking about, there's a lot you could do when you make a system rigid, but rigid things break. Whereas, if you have a more evolutionary take of it, with highly diverse and each, financial institution trying to probe the weaknesses of the other ones, so that you have some form of equilibrium.
Yeah, we went through. We had. In a span of 10 years, from 2000 to 2010, two humongous economic collapses. You had the internet bubble bursting. Trillions of dollars were lost. Trillions of dollars were lost. People lost jobs. It was very, very devastating. Yet we didn't have to start homeless camps. We didn't start soup kitchens. We didn't have that. 2008, we had the financial crisis there. And there's arguments we say that we handled it completely wrong as far as what should have been done. But the net result is our system was so big and robust that, there are a lot of people affected, millions of people affected by that, but we didn't reach depression level hysteria. And again, somebody who's dealing with hardship or somebody lost their house or whatever, I do not mean to downplay that at all. And I don't want to appear unsympathetic and all that.
No, we're looking at the bigger picture. And
it's not to say like platters. Oh yeah, no, we weathered that one the best we could. No, we did not. But the system is robust and whatnot.
I will say I lived my life through both of those, and it did not really touch me. Which is not to say that it didn't touch other people, but it's like it didn't affect core bedrock things to the point where now all of a sudden it's like, well, I had this career trajectory for myself, and now I'm gonna till the fields.
So what this brings me to, so the positive sort of stuff, but to show you the potential. So Google has a spinoff called Verily, and they're doing really neat stuff with large data sets. Now, when you want to take, let's say, 300,000 patient records and you want to look for correlations with certain things, that's an immense amount of data. And anybody remember like the traveling salesman problem and things like this, you understand how complex these things are. It's why you need GPUs and big systems to sort of compute all this data. But they took 300,000 patient records with eye data, looking at the data of what their eye scans of their eyes, and were able to find strong correlations between that and heart disease. And so now they think they have a way just to look at your eye to predict your heart disease risk factor.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
So, they've done on this before of looking at some of the, looking at this sort of data, looking to see if evidence there. When you have machine learning that does this, machines are very good at picking up patterns we don't. It's one of the reasons, like when you're trying to like do image recognition, you want to make sure all of your data sets are clean because, like, oh, here's an artist rendering of a shark. That should be good. Like, no, there might be things that are sharkiness that humans just don't even notice.
Yeah.
Curvature of the spine, things like this, etc. But they looked at eye scans here, and it just looks like a bunch of cells, or it looks like vessels, and it's got what these were showing. Oh, what are we looking at? Prediction of age.
Yeah, so it's able to take this left image here is the original scan
Of the eye.
of the eye. The right side or the middle side here is age. It predicted that this person was 59.1 years old, when in actuality they were 57.6 years. It predicted that the patient was a female, and she was.
That's amazing that you could tell gender based on correlations of the eyes. I guess
Predicting whether they were a smoker, whether they had, I think that's diabetes. It had a 6% predicting that they were diabetic, and she's not, as well as BMI, body mass index.
Wow.
24.1 prediction to a 26.3 kilogram. What was that? Kilogram? I don't know
Kilograms.
that, yeah.
BMI, of course, is the most loose one of all those because, a bodybuilder has a higher BMI than somebody who's slightly overweight. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Turns out the data set was only one person in one model. So it's going to be 100% each time. No, but I mean, the way they test these things is brilliant because they put in this is the data, this is the test data, and then correlate until you come back with a model that works. And it's amazing. I mean, that's what it's just doing with eye data. They're starting to get into genomes, and genetics are complicated because we have this idea of like the one gene that controls this. No, it could be 5 or 6 genes, and you could have 3 of those genes and 2 different genes, and you might have the same effect, because nature, is very efficient. So, but it's exciting. It's very exciting. On one hand, they're looking at this ability to diagnose. The next steps they're doing now is the ability to treat, to try to predict treatments and stuff on this, to say, why don't you try doing this instead? Because we've noticed a correlation there between this data, but we need data.
Yeah, and yet, and it's so funny because at the same time we're all very sensitive. We're worried about quote unquote our data just in the abstract, but at the same time we sure do like the benefits of people using that research to figure out that
I
stuff.
think look, there are other things that get opened up with this, and there are issues on who owns it and how they're able to use it. But the idea that we are going to be able to get good stuff out of it, I think is, obviously, only getting more and more exciting.
Yeah.
Tell you what, also only getting more and more exciting is donating to our Patreon, patreon.com/weirdthings.
I'm glad you brought this up because I donated last week, and it definitely when I donated again this week, it was more exciting the second time.
Well, and there's a lot of data on that, Brian. Try it for yourself. This fun experiment. Go ahead and up your pledge to Weird Things if you are already a Patreon, or if you want to become one, go ahead and start. And then the next week, up it again and see how you feel. Report all of your findings back to @Schwood on Twitter and let him know. But in all honesty, go ahead and get our After Things show, which we talk about more businessy kind of stuff, and also make sure that you make this an appointment for us each and every week to talk about science and pseudoscience and everything in between.
Gentlemen, I may be wearing a shirt of Starman cruising around space in his Tesla. I may be wearing a SpaceX cap, and I may be a big fan of the space thing. But I want you to turn your eyes not up, but down. Down, I say, to the oceans.
To beneath the man. Go having your head in the clouds and your Tesla's in the clouds. Get your feet on the ground. You got to think of look deep inside, beneath yourself.
there's a lot of talk about asteroid mining, and I think it's gonna be cool. You know, they're like, it's like you hit that headline, one asteroid, loaded with nickel could solve the whole, economic crisis because it could, be worth $20 trillion. It's like, you know what $20 trillion worth of nickel does? Makes the price of nickel fall to the floor. you know, I mean,
well,
it's like aluminum.
Yeah, exactly. Aluminum used to be a very rare delicacy or a treat, a fancy. It was a sign of wealth and power.
That
Napoleon.
you would eat like.
No, there was a story, and I'm sure it's more than apocryphal, but it was that like one of the prize things, the collections of Napoleon spoons, like was this Napoleon spoon owned by Napoleon that was made of aluminum. It was like, ooh, aluminum's lightweight, like ooh, because the ability to get that much aluminum, whatever, it's just you have to go through it. Aluminum extraction involves, you got to take bauxite, tons of electricity, whatever. It's a very sophisticated process to do this. But then there was a time when a centerpiece display at Tomorrowland at Disneyland was a telescope made from aluminum, right? Ooh, look at this, kids. One day, but then aluminum, they figured out how to mass produce it. Now it's, we wrap our garbage in it. We don't care. So it's like, not like, if we could produce enough aluminum, we've solved the world economic problems. No, these markets adjust the price. But that being said, is this it?
I think this is an aluminum spoon. This is a thread on a website. But a lot of people have been able to find fancy looking pure aluminum spoons in their attics.
So asteroid mining, I think, is interesting. I think is a very interesting idea. I mean, I think that it's possible and it could be useful. But one of the things that isn't as sexy but is growing, and there's millions and millions, billions of dollars now actually being directed to this effort, ocean floor mining.
Ocean floor mining.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And we do this now, of course, with the oil rigs. We go and we take an oil rig because, if you drill a hole, that hole goes deep enough, you find a big thing of oil and you go pump it out. But that's a lot different than actually trying to, literally dig up undersea, find stuff, pull it out. So there's a great article, Giant Robots Are the Future of Underwater Mining. This is from Popular Mechanics. And they show some massive, humongous, large, gigantic, I need more adjectives here, underwater robots. If you look at, here we go. If you can see, look at the photo of these things. They're huge.
Sorry, we're getting...
Our ad blocker is fighting us with this website.
Oh, okay. What I hate is you'll see an art, you'll see something that says, oh, here's an interesting study on this, and you click on it and it goes to New York Times and you've used 5 of your articles. I didn't even want to read that article.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Nobody told me it was going to there.
Oh my God, how badass do these things look?
Yeah.
And I guess are people inside, or why wowould you have
they're
people?
robots.
You would remote
They're
control everything, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's all remote. They control it from surface ships. So these things look like the most evil Transformers collection you've ever seen.
Yeah.
They've got these different for boring, whatever. So these are massive, massive machines that just sit on the floor of the ocean to start digging stuff up. And again, environmental concerns, yes, we understand that. But come on, this is really, really cool. All the stuff. Think of all the stuff we found on land. There's way more of that in the ocean. Way more.
Now I wonder how that gets regulated. Does it get regulated?
Well, I guess international waters, right? You just go. I mean, if you think about it, you could have an undersea version of Deadwood, where out in the middle of international waters, there's a camp because they found all the gold there, and these boats are just floating around. Anyone could come in and be like, "Hey, get your robots away from my robots. This is my territory." And then it's then you have to fight with your giant robots on the undersea to break them, and you're like, "Oh, is yours broken now? Good. Now I'm still digging."
Well, that sounds like an argument to mine outside of, or not in international waters.
I mean, not if you want to watch an awesome HBO series on it.
I don't want to kill Brian's HBO series. I don't want to kill that. There are certain global agreements and stuff regarding, you can't go hey, we're going to go put our nuclear power plant in the middle of the ocean because nobody cares. We can't put, we're not going to start sending factories. There are laws against international laws that sort of would kill your HBO series. That story point element. But we could say we passed a law and those laws are gone.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there is there is sort of there are areas where you can stake claims and things like that to be sure, but it's not totally wild frontier, but in some ways it is. But you also have a lot of like where people extend. They have like this is our border, and this is the area in which we claim, and that's one of the things we're having a problem in Asia is because territorial claims of a certain large nation there, extending them out into trying to basically annex the other nations there in a very slow shadow war. Not naming names. Anyhow. But it's exciting. I mean, it's this neat idea that there are massive machines out there and looking for more resources and stuff, and just you look at these things and thinking like how big they are. It's these huge robots just digging underneath.
Yeah, this one's
Well,
probably
and also
40
the
feet tall.
idea that they are waterproof. Not only waterproof, but they're designed to be in among the most hostile environments on Earth,
Yeah.
right? Like the
Surrounded
ocean
by,
floor.
as the Dothraki call it, the poison sea, right? All this corrosive minerals all in it, and it's just down there tearing stuff up.
And they're tearing up the floor that creates more corrosive elements. Like, I mean, these are like hardcore machines. They're amazing.
So, give you an example of some of the things here. They need to figure out what's down there. So the first scout mission, called the Abyss Autonomous Underwater Vehicle, it's a scout machine, rather. It's a torpedo-shaped craft, 13 feet long and weighing just under a ton. AUVs, Autonomous Underwater Vehicles, like Abyss, are autonomous, free-roaming, and can carry out missions following a pre-programmed plan. Abyss hits its maximum depth at 30,000 feet and can be in action for a full 24 hours. So 6 miles down. So it has surveying tools, sonar and stuff, maps the contours, and then they start getting into what they call their work class. These are the much larger vehicles. They have like the cutter, a 250-ton auxiliary cutter built by British company Soil Machine Dynamics. So they used it originally for how they would lay underwater cables. So they have to remember they dig the plows for underwater cable. So basically it's built off of sort of the same sort of how you would make something like that work. And they just get into the bigger things like 310-ton machines.
310 tons.
Yeah, it's a lot.
They're pretty badass.
They can go like a half mile an hour. But I mean it's
pretty. I mean, for what it's doing, pretty fast.
Well, I guess normal operations are much slower, but it's like it's like driving a bulldozer by remote control. So, wow, visibility can be bad if there are black smokers adjacent to the area or near field turbidity from the mining. Yeah. I guess you kick up a bunch of stuff. It's hard to see. So.
Yeah, but I wonder, like, it probably using some kind of advanced sonar stuff too. I would imagine, where it could kind of make a visual landscape out of it.
So I'm just reading this here. Like, they have dredgers, giant vacuums, things like this. They show the support craft that uses to put this thing on there. God, I bet James Cameron's got his finger hovering on the buy now button. So. Anyhow, very, very, very cool stuff. So just an exciting thing to think about, a new frontier that we're opening up or getting more into. I mean, we've actually been doing seafloor mining for thousands of years, with little bathyspheres or diving bells, things like this. You read about some of these shipwrecks, like when the Spanish ships, these crashed and sank with, tons of gold and, resources on board. They would actually try recovering operations, even though these are several hundred feet of water, by, 100 feet of water. So some of these, they would put people down there, these sort of diving bells, and there was generally slaves, and there was a high rate of death from doing that. But, that's how you did, that's how you did your scuba diving back then was, all right, we're going to take a barrel, we're going to cut off the bottom half, we're going to put some weights on it, we're going to stick your head in the barrel, it's going to go down. The air's going to compress as you do this. We don't know why, but anyhow,
we're gonna by hand be pumping air down to you. Hope we pump fast enough. Tug real hard.
Well, like the ones that were deep, if you couldn't, you just mechanically could. That was one of the reasons why we invented the combustion engine, or the drive towards the steam engine. The combustion was because just trying to generate enough power to move air. Because once you have to move your air through, 100 feet of hose, it just
needs enough pressure to even get down there. Good God, what horrifying.
No.
People.
So, do we want to do this quick? Where is Roadster?
No, yeah. Tell me about it. I don't know what this is.
So basically, I've seen it. I think that this, or maybe some other website. What they did is they just basically, it's a website somebody created for fun where they calculated the trajectory of the Tesla Roadster that's now in space. So if you go to Where's Roadster, it will show you where this is. And I don't know if you can zoom in on that or not, because where it is, it's not particularly helpful because it just overlaps. It looks like, it's back on Earth.
On it, it animates. There you go. You see the Roadster, and its trajectory is just sort of drifting out from Earth's orbit to Mars's orbit, and then past it, and then back on in.
Yep. Yeah, and there is a non-zero chance the Roadster may crash into Earth. Well, into our atmosphere and burn up.
That'd be amazing.
Just so you know. Just so you know. It reminds me of like the Perry Bible Fellowship comic where there's like two astronauts and one's like, I can't make it, I'm falling. And he falls, into the Earth's atmosphere and he turns into this bright, shiny, flash of light. And this girl hold out her tongue and goes, oh, look, the first snowflake of the season, and catches one of the ashes.
Nick's a screwed up guy.
Yeah. Gosh, who enabled that person?
He's a weird dude. I love him. I actually found out when I was in Tokyo in Japan.
Just background, Justin was the editor at the Syracuse.
I went to school. I was a coworker with Nick Gerwich, who does Perry Bible Fellowship. And have you ever heard of the phrase weeb? If I say weeb, do either of you know what I am saying?
I assume
but I feel
it's
angry.
Short for like is it weeboo or what is? Tell me about the word weeb.
No. Well, you know something of it, but it is a slang for usually a non-Asian person who is really into Asian culture.
Yeah.
Right. It is derived from a Perry Bible Fellowship comic that is totally nonsense. It is just a comic where there's a guy saying, hey, like in a very businessy thing, if we if we waste any more time with Weeaboo, we'll be bankrupt. And then the rest of the crowd just starts saying, oh, did I just hear Weeaboo? And they're like paddling him in the final the final thing. It has nothing to do with Japan or Japanese culture or Asian culture at all. Like no matter what, but for whatever reason, it was co-opted apparently through 4chan to mean this thing. So this all happened.
Really? That's amazing. That's amazing.
So I didn't know if Nick knew that. So I DM'd him and I'm like, dude, do you know that the Weeaboo comic became this like whole thing? And he's like, he is aware of it, but he has no idea, and he's blown away that anybody would want to make anything like that of us. It is a nonsense word. It's literally just a word he made up that'd be funny that people were chanting if they were paddling somebody.
Sounds like somebody wants to play Weeaboo.
No!
Gentlemen, I have to depart at 1, but medical checkup. Apparently, you're supposed to go every now and then and have them tell you you're healthy or not. So, who knew? I wonder what time it is.
I mean, could it be time for Journey Quest?
Previously on
Journey Quest!
The bunker. Come to my bunker.
There's actually a children's hospital right up ahead on the right.
Hey, by the way,
boom! He pops up with a gun. Greetings from Bryce Vegas.
Meet us. Meet us at the border of Bryce Vegas, and we can bring an end to these hostilities because we know what happened in the bunker.
Thanks again to Steven who makes those recaps.
Yeah. So last we heard, the boys were on the road to Bryce Vegas with Good Clone Bryce. Was that the name?
Yeah.
Good Bryce, I think was.
Good Bryce and a nuclear weapon. And they've been sent on a mission to blow up Bryce, who has now become basically like...
But also, we are booked for a big wrestling extravaganza. We've got a lot going on.
We're gonna try to Dave him.
Yeah. We'll feel it out. I mean, so first of all, Justin, do you want to just hang out and wait and see if the message gets to him, or should we just? I guess let's head into town, and if he wants to meet us at the border, he'll already be there. Otherwise, I say we just march on in and maintain our cover story. We're just here to do a wrestling show.
Listen, here's what we do. All right, team meeting.
Yeah, good, Bryce.
There's no way that this is bad publicity. So, we are just gonna march into town, and we're gonna say, hopefully, we're met by some part of his security or whatever, right? We're keeping Good Clone Bryce secret.
Oh, yeah. So,
yeah.
Do me a favor, real quick. Put on this mustache and this jaunty hat.
Kinda
There you
hat.
go. Yeah. Tilt it sideways, and if you could, there you go. So to act.
No, that's actually how Bryce really
that-
looks, though.
Oh, that's-
Sunglasses too. Is that,
there you go. Sunglasses work.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
That looks exactly like Bryce, though.
it's fine. I'm sure it'll work.
Hey, your manager here, guys. I know you forgot about me, but that's okay. When they gave you the nuclear weapon, they actually built a secret compartment on the RV.
Oh, hey, we could stick him in there, but also make him wear this
with
mustache.
the nuclear weapon.
Yeah, you cozy up with the nuke.
It was a smaller nuke than we thought. They had these old ideas about big nuclear weapons. It's like a suitcase nuke. And it's not even like a suitcase nuke. It's like your grandmother's suitcase that she carried her hats and the little mirror and the, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
that
sure,
kind of
sure.
thing.
Like
we have
this,
a
like,
nuclear
Smells
weapon
like
that's-
mothballs.
the
I
si-
think it was a grandmother's suitcase, to
It's
be
the
honest
size
with
of
you.
as one of those portable phonograph record players, right?
What you're telling me is that we have a nuclear weapon just rattling around in a compartment that's way too big for
We
it.
put some foam peanuts next to it. Jeez.
All right, so here I scoop out 7 or 8 handfuls of the foam peanuts. I was like, "In you go, good Bryce. Also, make sure to wear this mustache."
Okay. Well, why do I need the mustache?
Yeah, because man, like you never know. That what if they're psychic? What
Is
if
this
they
why
have
we called the
X-ray
meeting,
eyes?
so I can be thrown into a compartment?
What if they scan you with some kind of X-ray thing and they're like, "There's a man in there. Who is it?" Oh, it's definitely not Bryce
We'll just
Castillo.
go, oh no, that's just Matt Mustache.
Exactly. Here, wear this shirt that
Okay.
says my
By
name
the
is
way,
Matt Mustache.
your new name is Matt Mustache. And if anybody asks you what your catchphrase is, you just say it's mustache time.
By the way, we are still 300 miles away from Vice Vegas.
We're
But,
not
yeah,
even close to it. We're
it's
hours away.
Sit it, just bucket. You can never be too safe, man. It's you just
Yeah,
I'm
no,
so
they're gonna
tight.
be after us, man. Okay, hey, Matty M, go ahead and get into the Matt Mobile. That's in the basement of our car.
All right.
Now, I notice though there's it's the situation of where the secret compartment is. It's between the bathroom and the master bedroom, and there's been peepholes on either side of that.
Okay, we're gonna just ignore that is the case.
A lot of VHS tapes in there too, Bryce. A lot of VHS tapes in there.
That's weird.
All right,
Whoever's
look,
doing
hey,
this is
let's
weird.
set it up. I press play on the tape deck and I say, let's
It's
roll
it's
out.
recorded over a Chuck Berry concert. Don't know what that means.
It's great. So we get moving as fast as we can and head on to Bryce Vegas. Justin, we got a few hours to kill. Are there any plans that we should be making?
Hey, look, there's an In-N-Out up ahead.
Don't be tempted. Don't be tempted. Hey, look at. Hey, I hold up my pinky to Justin and say, "No side quests. No side quests.
No side quest. Let's go.
All right.
Hey guys, manager here. We need to fill up the gas tank. Turns out there's an In-N-Out. Now, as you know, In-N-Out, which is a family-owned company which is devoted to the religious principles, has managed to survive the apocalypse, maintain the highest quality food, whatever that makes them great about that. They still put the little religious inscriptions underneath it, but I'm like, you know what? Listen, who's going to survive these things? But a bunch of people devoted their religion, their God, and part of that is their service demand, which means In-N-Out. You guys want to get some?
I look Justin in the eye and just as slightly as possible to give the
Manager
slightest
cracks
shake,
the
head
window
shake.
and you can smell the French fries.
You know what? I go and I open up the nuke bin and I pull out more packing peanuts and I hop inside next to Bryce.
Can I have a burger?
We have to talk. We have to talk.
It's like I'm not gonna be tempted by side quests. All right, so I get back out.
No. I drag Brian out. He's not getting into the compartment. I tell Matty Mustache to stay where he is.
Hey, it's
Commitment to the
mustache
bit.
time.
And then I tell the manager, hey, look, if we have to refill as fast as you possibly can. Get 2 burgers to go.
Yes.
We are going to stay here. We have
Also,
to plan.
double
We're
with
sa-
cheese. No. Don't let him put special sauce, no mayo in there.
You don't even like the special sauce?
No. Shut up, Matty Mush.
Matty
You can hear him through the RV, by the way. He can actually, you realize that There's a little hatch there. He could climb out if he wanted to. There's little vents he can watch. You see these eyes just peering down at you, just staring at you.
This is not a good compartment.
I was like, oh, hey, this is really convenient. I bet I could fit a few French fries through. You want fries? You want fries?
I'd like a whole meal.
Okay, a whole meal's worth of fries. Double order
Milkshake and a
fries.
straw.
Yeah, exactly.
This is too much like a side quest. Whatever. Just get stuff. Bring it back.
All right,
We gotta
manager
talk.
comes back out with bags full of in and out. Here you go, guys. I got everything there.
Okay, let's
Go,
head
go,
on out.
go. It's
We
mustache
get
time.
back into the bus. We start driving along, and you're eating the food, and then you notice it's delicious.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. This might be even better than that jerky that we had.
Now I know what all those Californians are talking about all the time.
All those Californias.
All right.
So yeah,
Brian,
and you carry
here's-
along. You're like, man, it's one of those like, yeah, we had In and Out. It was delicious. Meanwhile, let's carry on to Bryce Vegas.
Okay,
We continue on to Bryce Vegas, and I tell Brian, all
I
right,
pause a
here's-
moment to reflect with my mouth full. You know, I really am glad we did that one side quest. I know we said no side quest, but that was a pretty good one.
I patiently
you're-
wait until Brian's finished chewing.
Now you're
I
driving
did-
along towards Bryce Vegas. And you see a billboard, right? And you ignore the billboard because you're like, no, we're trying to get there. We're trying to make time. We're not reading billboards. Then you see another billboard. It's some attraction where they managed to buy a bunch, and now it's painted on the roof of a barn that's angled towards you. They painted on rocks. You know, it's like they're really trying to get your attention for
All right, I
this.
glance over to the side to see if it's an advertisement for the thing, and if it is, I'm gonna maybe insist that we do that side quest.
It's Club Diamond Shop,
Club Diamond.
and it's got the logo.
Ignore it. Ignore it.
You drive, and you see your face is next to it. Official merchandise.
All right, I say, Justin, you realize, like, this is like south of the border. Have you ever been? Did you ever go to south of the border?
Do I remember south of the border? Of course I know what south of the border is. I used to drive from Fort Lauderdale to Syracuse. I've seen both ends of that entire sprawl a million times.
So what if it's like that, but it's about us? We can here.
You said 5 seconds ago, no side quest. You made
pinky
me think you
promise.
swear,
Well,
no
I just
side
wanna
quest. Since then, you are on 1.25 side quests. It's the only words that have come out of your mouth.
Let's just see it in as we. Let's keep it. Let's see if it gets more
New
impressive.
billboard featuring the Modern Rogue collection.
I reach into the mustache
Licensed,
bin.
official Modern Rogue collection.
I grab 2 more mustaches, and I put one on myself, and the other one I put over Justin's existing mustache. I was like, we might be famous here if we stop. I'm not saying we're gonna stop.
So you see bright lights over the horizon. Bright lights, big parking lot, and I'm talking something the size of like a Super Walmart. Super Walmart, painted Night Attack yellow. It's got all sorts of neon. It's got a bunch of neon signs from all the different shows. There's even a Weird Things saying here, Weird Things merchandise. All this crazy stuff there, right?
Hey, Justin, I say now our main quest.
2 inflatable Bryans and Justins out front, wavering in the wind. Woo, woo.
Justin, maybe this.
That's it! I slam my hand on the console. Listen, we're gonna do this side quest. However, you're following my lead, and this is the tune. We are inspectors from Bryce Vegas looking to find out who owns and who is operating this store. We're poking around. We're looking to find out who these people are. We're not disclosing who we are. My name is Alexei, and you're Jean-Pierre. He's Matt Mustache. We're all rolling in together.
All right, and so
Though though you both also have mustaches.
yes,
Okay.
of course we do.
'Cause
We-
it's mustache
we don't want to get recognized.
It's mustache
I
time.
pass out white lab coats, and luckily I've already picked up some hard hats and safety goggles and a clipboard for everyone.
So-
all right.
Does Bryce have a clipboard, or is he still?
Am I allowed to have a clipboard?
You're allowed to have a clipboard, but you have to write on it. My name is Matt Mustache.
So you get out of the RV, you pull in the park. Now the parking lot's it's a little late. It's empty, but the lights are on.
That's
What
fine.
time? What time is it?
It's like 11:30 at night.
Ooh, okay.
You go walk up to the door, see the lights on with the door, and you grab the door. Door's locked,
That's a fire code.
and there's a sign that says "Closed for restocking."
I knock very loudly on the door.
Nobody answers.
I kick the door.
The door gets kicked.
Okay, I rev up my chainsaw hand and just kind of lightly try to jimmy that lock with it just a little bit.
Jean-Pierre,
Yeah.
that's not code.
Oh,
You should
yeah.
probably take this as a sign that this is not a side inspection for us.
I press T and select 10 hours and wait until morning when it wakes up, or when it's daylight.
Oh, you see a guy with a mop in the back.
Oh, I tap on the window and wave my chainsaw hand, then realize that's awkward and
Friendly sort, he waves back.
I knock and kind of point at the door. Then
He walks forward. He's got like a janitor set of keys. Unlocks, holds up. Gentlemen, I'm sorry, but the store is closed. But you can have these stickers, and they're Brian and Justin stickers, and gives you some stickers. Says, Diamond
Excuse
Club
me.
forever.
All right, yeah, hold on. Sir. My name is Alexei. This is Jean-Pierre, Matt Mustache. His catchphrase is, it's mustache time.
It's mustache
time.
Have anybody ever told you look like Tom Merritt?
Listen, the time for merit gazing is over. We are inspectors from Bryce Vegas. We're here to make sure that all of your tax information is in order. Who is the proprietor of this establishment?
Well, it's actually owned by a consortium.
And what is that? Just so we can get that for our records.
Diamond Club Enterprises International Conglomerated Incorporated, LLC.
Is your manager available?
No, he'll be back in the morning though.
so it's just you here.
There's no manager.
I mean, not right now. I'm just cleaning up the place.
Great.
restock.
Well,
Who is your manager?
Phil?
well,
Do
listen.
you have Phil's number? Can we call him right now?
I would give you his number, but cell phone service hasn't really worked since, I don't know, the apocalypse.
All right, this is a good point. Listen up. Count your lucky stars that Phil's not here because we're going to do this inspection.
Man, you look familiar.
Well, I have.
This is Dan Benjamin,
Were you on
everybody,
Queer Eye?
and Andrew Zarian.
I explain in no uncertain terms that this inspection is long overdue, and our orders were to come shut the place down. But if you could just let us do our inspection, we'll be out of your hair, and you'll be back in business.
Listen, come on in, have a look around. It's fine. It opens up the door for you, flips on the lights. It's all bright. And, like, you walk through, the first thing you see is, like, night attack shot glasses, right? You know, dying of fire flasks, right?
This all looks
Just-
great, but as I look at the merchandise, I try to figure out, are these people worshiping our old podcast from the before times, or are they new fans from our White Hot Fire wrestling show? Like,
Yeah. Also, AKA, do they know we're alive?
yeah.
And who licensed this stuff?
That's not your catchphrase. That's not your catchphrase, Matt.
It's
When you
mustache
say
time.
we, what do you mean we?
That's Lenny license. That's the who licensed this stuff catchphrase.
Who licensed this stuff?
So
No, he wears a beanie.
looking
And
at the
Brett's a
type,
beanie.
looking at the types of thing, does it look like they're lionizing an ancient story of us, or are they current fans of our current endeavors?
I don't know how to even begin to answer that question.
Well, like for example, is there any wrestling gear or anything that depicts
Oh, well, I
our
don't think
wrestling
anybody
matches?
knows that you guys are the wrestlers.
Oh,
Remember, that was the secret you used.
Yeah, also, we
non-big
have
names.
not done a podcast since the apocalypse. So,
Yeah.
so nobody who listened to us would know what we are. However, we do know the fact that there apparently has been a correlation of people who survived the apocalypse with fans of our show.
Yeah.
That-
You know,
that
we're
is
having a
previously-
5-for-1 sale in Justin Robert Young comedy albums.
5 for 1.
5 for 1.
It's the same one.
Oops.
Okay, I go to the back. I try to find an office where there might be some paperwork that would give us a clue about who's running this thing.
You go back into the office, you find an office, and like the guy's like, sure, whatever. Act like you own the place.
Yeah, you did sort of just walk out of the middle of a conversation.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
gonna
the
be,
tax-
I'll just
I-
be
I-
mopping
I also-
minding my business here.
I go to talk to the janitor while Brian rifles through all the ownership paperwork.
Sure.
All right, so I go to talk to the guy like, hey, just I know this is a little weird. I'm sorry for that, buddy. Hey, he's just your old pal Alexei, the tax officer here. Listen, man, bosses, am I right? They got me out here humping tax laws, in the middle of nowhere. Not to say this is the middle of nowhere, but I mean, where's anywhere? Am I right? Anyway, when did you start working here, and who pays you?
I got my job 5 years ago. Well, it wasn't the Club Diamond Shop then. It was, it was actually a Super Walmart. And I would say, like, I started at Club Diamond Shop. I think we started that about 4 months ago.
I
Really?
yell from the office. I was like, "What? Well, where'd you get that idea? Also, do you have the keys to this filing cabinet?
Should be unlocked.
Okay, but where'd you get the idea?
The idea
hey.
I just work here.
Well, do you remember when the day that it was decided to go ahead and not make it a Super Walmart and have good items at low prices instead of just a bunch of memorabilia for some dumbass podcast and no one's ever heard of? I laughed too loud.
So, what it was, the management, they owned Souvenir, Tchotchke Factory. They used to make all this stuff for something called South of the Border. And turns out they're big fans. The whole everybody worked there would listen to the show, listen to all the other podcasts. They liked weird things. Couldn't stand that Andrew Main guy, but who cares? Anyhow, point is, they're big fans. The apocalypse happened, and there was some sort of catastrophe in the factory apparently, and apparently like they were trapped for like a week, 2 weeks. The only thing they had was the soothing voices of these two guys to keep them comfortable because somebody had recorded all of them and played them back for them. And they decided that what they needed to do is if they ever made their way out of there is they needed to share this with everybody else. So they turned the factory into producing this merchandise, producing this. They said they had an agreement with Brian and Justin to do this. So who am I to question this? They took over the Super Walmart and turned it into what you see, Club Diamond Shop.
I returned from the office wearing one of those hats with 2 beers and a straw that goes in the mouth, but it has pictures of Brian and Justin on it. And I say,
actually, it has little plastic Brian and Justins on each beer, like holding each beer to your hat, like
there
little
you go.
demons.
and I said, bad news, guys. There's just a bunch of paperwork in there.
Did you read any of it?
Did I read any of it?
Yeah.
You know
That's
what?
not
Hold
your
on, I'll be right
catchphrase.
back. I go back to read the paperwork. What do I see, Andrew?
You see a lot of orders for a lot of submitting requests to the factory to produce stuff. Not a lot of sales receipts.
Damn.
A lot of sales receipts.
Good reading. Good reading.
I look for their sales tax certificate and tear it up. Then-
I asked the janitor, "Hey, is this place? What's the foot traffic like these days? Like pretty busy, pretty not busy, pretty crazy?"
We had a couple people here last week.
What did they look like?
People.
Okay.
That checks out.
All right. I turn to Justin and I say this is a bad dungeon. Let's go back on the road.
Yeah. So you said cell service doesn't work, right? You know, there's no way we can get in touch. Hey, we can't like send up a flare. Like if somebody was robbing the place, like let's say somebody was legitimately just robbing this place blind.
Phil looks around nervously, grabs his wallet, takes out his Bryce bucks, hands them to you.
No,
backs
no,
away
no,
slowly,
friend. Don't worry.
Starts handing
We're
you
not-
T-shirts.
Listen. I understand that came off a little heavy-handed. No one's getting robbed.
And
here.
now
I'm
he's
just-
running away and he's out the door.
Yeah.
You're by yourself.
All right. I
all right. So we are robbing this place.
Yes.
Like right
okay.
now.
Great. So I look for. I go to the sporting goods section. I get some Brian and Justin branded shotguns, and I put them all in Matt Mustache's hands. I'm like, carry all these. Also these ammo. And then I go and I take a Night Attack brand camping fuel, and I began to pour it all over the establishment. And then,
Hold on. Wait a minute. We're going to destroy it.
I mean, what's the point? We got the guns.
You're destroying the only like.
These people love us.
They love
like,
you.
They probably
There's
think
an
we're
entire
dead.
section of Justin and Brian's cardboard standees.
Okay, no. We're not lighting this place on fire. I hit the register. How much do I find in there?
There's nothing. Just there's some lint and some lifesavers and a couple certs.
All right,
I eat the certs and I say, Brian, we're leaving.
I realize that a lot of this stuff we can sell as merchandise once we have our big
Your big match.
our
Yeah.
big match. So I grab a bunch of the standees of me and Justin.
That's what
life-size
you get over.
standees.
There's actually a Justin and Brian Airstream trailer that you could load it up into and attach to the back of the RV.
all right,
No,
so
we fill that thing up. We're not doing the standees. We're not selling the standees. You know
Nope.
how this works.
Okay, but you never know. Maybe there's some kind of wacky thing where we need to look like an army of us.
Action figures, triple extra large T-shirts. These are the things that move.
No, but if we, I'm just saying we might get into a battle and we might need to confuse the enemy, and then just by setting up all these standees and they're all like, I don't know which one of you to shoot.
They're gonna shoot the one that's not smiling and not
Yeah,
moving.
And probably the one that has the chainsaw for a hand,
not,
unlike the
you
other
know,
ones. Okay,
flat.
I throw away the standees, and
All
except
right,
for
we
one.
load up all the merch and we do it. Do we write any note to the owner?
Yes,
There's some stationery with your faces on it.
great. We autograph a bunch of those and signing them saying "You're welcome," Brian and Justin.
And then I write taxes came due.
And I actually number a good 200 of them. I take a Brian and Justin Polaroid.
More merchandise to sell.
No, I mean we're giving it to them in exchange. This is fair compensation for all the stuff that we took.
Hold on, wait, you wanted to burn down their establishment 5
And
seconds
you
ago.
you convinced me. I saw the light. So
Okay.
You all get back in the RV.
yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
You get out the RV, and the RV starts to pull away. Phil, the janitor, meanwhile, is off hiding behind the corner, pulls out a cell phone,
Son
opens
of
it
a
up,
bitch.
and says, "Oh, these things still don't work." They like it. RV's heading down. You guys are no more bad dungeons, no more. And that's just straight on. You're not going to let anything distract you. Not anything distract you. Not even the signs, the lit up neon signs that say Juryland Bushwood, the greatest amusement park on the planet.
No.
5 miles ahead.
No.
Come on, Justin. I want to go to Brush Gardens.
Absolutely not.
Brush
No.
Gardens.
Yeah, in scenic Brush Gardens.
No, we are going to Bryce Vegas, and here's the plan. We're going to be met by somebody at the border, and we are going to either say, hey, look, this was just to raise interest in our big wrestling match. I know you understand publicity, and we either go and meet with Bryce and we Dave him, or we are immediately launching into open warfare, which we can end at any time with our nuclear weapon.
Hopefully,
Aside,
hopefully after our
Hall
show.
of Presidents featuring Robo Justin as all the different presidents.
No, I pulled down all the shades, and no one is able to see outside.
Julian Bryan's greatest roller coaster ever.
Oh,
I punch Brian in the kidney as hard as I can, so he can't see out of anything. He's just lying on the floor in pain.
oh man. They're playing a movie, Modern Rogue One. Ah.
Yeah. Justin's House of Self-Loathing. No, we're not going to go there and do that.
No.
It's a really
not
long
that.
ride. Really long, really, really dark.
All right. I begrudgingly decide that if we have a few hours, I get some shut-eye because I think we got a clear plan of attack.
Well, you pass there. You're on your way. Everything is fine. You even see a billboard that says answers to everything here. Turn this way. End this quest right now.
I can ignore it.
Justin's not a big Douglas Adams fan.
Giant ball of twine. It would be like some idiot's going to say 42 and fart.
You pass by there and you hear 42.
Nailed it.
You keep going, and then you go over a hill. All the interesting things always happen right over hills, right over ridges. You see bright lights. You see lasers shooting in the sky. Remember how bright Las Vegas was?
Yeah.
Nothing compared to this.
Wow.
Okay, you're like, oh my God, is it? You wake up, Brian, like, is it morning already? Is it morning? And you're like, oh no, that's just Bryce Vegas. Lights, lasers, like they used to have a laser in the Rio that shot out over like the desert highway, but it was like a hazard or something.
Yeah.
They don't care about that in Bryce Vegas. There are like 1,000 lasers lighting up the sky. And in fact, from this particular location, you can see the laser lighting up the moon with Bryce's face.
Oh.
He's cackling and laughing. Ha, 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 ha. You can't really hear him. But
I elbow Matt Mustache, and I was like, study all that. Study those moves. You're gonna have to look exactly like him. You're gonna have to become him, except for good.
Do we see anybody on the road impeding our entrance?
There's tour buses heading back and forth.
Okay, but no official presence.
Well, you're not there yet. I mean, again, I'm saying it's really bright. You're miles and miles and miles away.
Oh yeah, no, just checking. All right, well, let's Brian suit up. Who licensed this?
Okay, ready?
Who licensed this?
Hey, do you want to get your power armor on?
I equip power armor.
Okay, I ride on Justin's back as he runs alongside the last few miles up.
So all of a sudden you see a fleet out of nowhere, police cars follow you.
Well, we react with no fear, egging them on.
Although I do lean over and I said, and whisper into Justin's ear, I bet you wish we had a bunch of standees of ourselves to confuse them.
Bunch of police cars pull in front of you.
I snidely answer back, no.
How could he?
Bunch of police cars pull in front of you.
All right.
Yeah.
Right? You go slow? Do you go fast? What do you do?
I mean, if they're coming alongside, I wave at them with my chainsaw hand.
One of them rolls down the window.
Yeah. Okay, great. I'm like, hey, we have a gig here. We're just loading in.
He thumbs up. He's
Great.
like, we know it's sold out. We're
they're
your
an
escort.
Wait, they're an escort?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, are you here for our safety?
In a matter of speaking.
Great. And so we head farther into Bryce Vegas.
Is the security guard that takes a boxer to the boxing ring there for their safety?
Yeah.
Does the job stop when they get in the ring? And then the answer is yes.
Yeah, sure. Cool. All right.
I took a course in philosophy, and I asked these questions.
It's very literal.
We've got a great
Police
community
escort.
college program here in Bryce Vegas.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Let's head on into town. How close to town are we now?
2 years of maternity leave.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, 2 years of parental leave, maternity leave. That they give us that. It's great here.
Oh, that's great. Hey, what's the?
Awesome. Let's move on. We're going to the fight.
Yeah,
Driving. We're doing good. We're good. What do you want the billboard? I just got a phone call from the boss. Our cell phone signal works here, by the way. What do you want the billboard to say?
Say.
Hey, Bryce, if you're not a filthy coward, come to the fight.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Okay. They want it to say, if you're not a filthy coward, come to the fight.
No, specifically Bryce. Say Bryce colon.
Bryce,
that's what
the
I'm talking
leader
to.
of Bryce Vegas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, do I just talk? Yes, that's quote your name, Bryce. If you're
Okay.
not a filthy coward, come to the fight.
Great.
Says he'll be there. Can't wait.
Awesome.
Lots of love.
We keep on going.
And what is your marquee name, by the way? Sorry, one more question.
Justin, do we want to give our real names? Do you want to just call out? I mean,
We are License Larry and Matt Mustache.
I gotta take my mustache off.
yeah.
No, we're staking the gimmick, and I put another mustache on my fake mustache that I already had. And then I stare right in the cop's face and go, "It's mustache time."
I listened to hear whether or not Bryce is outraged from inside his
I'm
box.
just giggling.
We'll find out next time on Journey Quest.
A lot of progress, guys.
I've got a bolt. I'm gonna say do picks. I'm gonna say my pick, and then I'm gonna move on.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right.
I've been watching Alter Carbon. I enjoy it. I think it's a good show. The visuals are amazing. Really, really well done visuals on that. You kind of want it to be sort of a bigger sort of show or bigger sort of messages to, I would say, to an extent, but still I'm finding it very enjoyable.
Right
Yeah,
on.
look, I think it's at its best when you understand that it's pulp sci-fi, right? And enjoy it for the visceral pulp sci-fi-ness of it, and it's not Peter F. Hamilton like telling you a greater truth about society.
Yeah, there are things where you're like, okay, like the part of the plot line is somebody who's in the future, but then they wake up like 250 years from then, but like their world hasn't changed that much. Everything's sort of the same, which seems sort of counter to kind of like who, I don't know, the future is really going to be involved. But some of the things are like, this feels like 100 years from now, not like 700 years from now. And then things are very, very static. There's a lot of issues of the futurism of, I'm like, well, this is sort of, would it really be like that or not? But I don't know. But also it's still an entertaining show.
Yeah.
And really good
Sexy
themes.
people, crazy guns, it's Altered Carbon. Have some fun.
My pick is an article written by Justin Robert Young and John Teasdale for President's Day,
That's right.
in which they pit all, 45 presidents against each other. It speculates, what if the moment they put that hand on the Bible at inauguration, poof, they go into a game of PUBG, of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and in detail, but just play with this thought experiment for a bit. Make your bet about who lasts the longest and who is the ultimate victor, and then buckle in for this ride. It's a fun bit of satire.
Yeah.
I'm really, really proud of it. It was amazing to work with John Cheese, who is the editor to The Modern Rogue. He is great, and it's just a super fun article. John did so much of the work on it, so he really gets the majority of the credit. It's awesome, and I'm so excited that we were able to find a home with it on The Modern Rogue, which I just think is like a supernova that everybody needs to read every day. Because it is so fun.
Right on.
You got to pick Justin?
Dan Wally, is the article more detailed than the stream they did a month ago? Absolutely. In fact, we left a lot of stuff out of the stream because we're anticipating it getting published on President's Day. So go ahead and if you, it is a perfect companion.
Hey, and share it. This is the kind of article and this is the kind of day that I don't know. I can imagine.
Share it now.
Yeah,
share
right.
it today.
Yeah. Share it.
Post it on a Reddit. Find 10 Reddits to post it to.
Here, an example of Reddits you could post it to: politics, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds Reddit. Just any of those that you might think would be a cool thing where people would like to read it. It again, we have no idea how much we meticulously researched the capabilities of all that and the reasoning that went behind it. If you want a companion to it on the Politics podcast, we did go through kind of the more methodology of how we statted everybody and why we statted and the decisions that we made, including, there are a lot of people in that thought experiment that never saw an automatic weapon, that don't know what a vehicle is. How would they react? We made very specific decisions about that, and we went more in detail on why we made those decisions in the podcast.
And that's your January 4th, 2018 episode of Politics.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, look, ICU's got a URL for a Reddit post on the PUBG Reddit.
Oh, weird.
It would be crazy if organically people were to give fans of that game a tremendous crowdsourced material.
Yeah. I have a pick real quick. I think I've talked about it before, and I think the reason I didn't talk about it in too much detail was because at the time it was very difficult to play. It was across 3 different generations of video game consoles, and they were not always very common or easy to find. Can't always find prints of it. But it went on Steam about a year ago now, and it is what I think is probably one of my favorite science fiction / kind of supernatural story. It is the Zero Escape series, specifically Zero Escape: The Nonary Games, which is a collection of the first 2 of this 3-game series. Each game, you sort of wake up and are finding yourself in a killing game, and it mixes escape room sort of puzzles with visual novel sorts of storytelling and choices. And what I think it does really well across all 3 games is that it continues to ramp up the stakes of what is at play, trying to survive, but also trying to save the people that you're with, the people that you're paired with, people outside of the games, people who have no idea that the games are happening. And I don't even want to get into any more detail about it because it's a very cool, like it is its own rabbit hole to go down, and every little discovery is really well thought out and considered, and there's tons of pseudoscience and fake science and actual just hullabaloo. Your buttons.
Oh, but it's got like internal logic that sticks.
Yeah, it does, and it sticks between all 3 of these games, and this collection in particular that came out, the Nonary Games collection on Steam, and I think you can find this on some of the consoles, went back to the first 2 games and upgraded them. So like the first game, 999, is really cool, but it's a very tough game to play and experience all of because at the time it didn't really have like what you would consider a flowchart for a visual novel game where your choices are there. So you would have to play from the beginning all the way over and over again.
Oh, wow.
And make all your decisions. So I think that's something that's new. I think that game got like voice acting. This is from Spike Chunsoft, who do really good localization and really good English dubbing. I recommend it wholeheartedly. If any of that sounded good. Plus, the puzzling is good. The escape room elements are actually really good. It has also good concrete logic in the way you play it. So
awesome.
That's Zero Escape: The Nonary Games. Check it out.
Boom.
Yeah. Well, Andrew's not here to say goodbye.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. When it comes to that, it's been weird.
Anyway, see you later.
Very cool. Let me see. Let's see if
That's
there's any...
amazing. That pin is amazing, dude. When did those happen?
Just got those in over the weekend. They'll be on sale at the live show in San Francisco, and whatever's left will come to Austin for the Night Attack live show.
Oh, dude, very cool. Should we do an after things?
I mean, I don't really have a theme for it. and I certainly have catch-up work to do because I've been out of town for 3 days. So I'm very tempted to keep promises.
I think we can all recharge our batteries.
Okay, then I think that'll do it for the stream today, or for right now. Do you
Right
have
now.
Yeah, in
100
all
Wrestling
seriousness,
in an hour and a half.
spread that article
Yeah.
and upvote it where you will like it.
Here, I'm gonna
Get it where you like it.
Twitter.com. Oh, I gotta log in myself. Okay, well, in any case, that'll do it for us now. Hope we see you on a future stream, on a future show. Have a good President's Day, everybody.
Yeah.
See you soon.